Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Recha Kodash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And today we're going to go into the book of Matthew, the 24th chapter. And Yahweh Shai went out and departed from the temple, and his disciples came to him for to shew him the buildings of the temple. And Yahweh Shai said unto them, See ye not all these things? Verily I say unto you, there shall not be left here one stone upon another that shall not be thrown down. See, and people thought that he meant, he was going to destroy the temple, because they ended up saying that when he was crucified. But he was really referring to how it would be destroyed. All right, and he mentions a bit more of that later on, right, when he quotes the book of Daniel. And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world? And those signs that the Lord told them in here in Matthew 24, some were pertaining to, because remember, he mentioned about the stones and so on of the temple being thrown down, right? So they asked, well, when is that going to be? But also, what are going to be the signs of your coming and the end of the world? So he told them things that would happen shortly after his departure, things that would happen concerning 70 AD, but also things that would happen concerning our time now, which would be the signs of his return and the end of the world. So in Matthew 24, it's a mix, right, of things that pertain to the time period not too long after Yahweh Shai died, but also the time period in the future, which is why these signs are crucial now more than ever to look out for, because they're an indicator to us that the Lord's return is close. Verse 3, Salakia, verse 4, and Yahweh Shai answered and said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am the anointed, and shall deceive many. And you had people that did that during the time of after Yahweh Shai left, during the time of the apostles, right? They even warned us about it. And you have that going on even up until today, that they're misleading, they're actually deceiving many. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars, and we see that now, right? More prevalent than ever. Wars, rumors of wars, rumors of the U.S. going to bomb Iran. They've sent all their they've made a plan with Israel, and they've sent all these military vehicles and all of these things over there to the east, and they're ready. Like, these are all rumors of wars, right? You have the war with Russia and Ukraine and all different kinds of wars that are going on, coupled with the other signs that the Lord told us to watch out for. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. So the Lord is saying, don't be frightened, don't be messed up, don't be troubled, because these are all signs that have to come to pass. But these are signs, right? And the end is not yet. A few things have to happen before. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. And that's that division, which we're seeing on a high level, right? You're seeing actual countries and nations going against each other. And you're seeing it on a more granular level within places like, say, Babylon, right? Or America, where you have different nationalities that are clashing one against another. And kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. And we're seeing that, right? You're seeing different magnitude earthquakes happening in different areas, some regions that are not really known for it, but it's all happening. Different diseases, famines, all these are the beginning of sorrows, right? So when you see these things, know that this is just the beginning, right? It's just getting started. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. And they did that back then, right, to the apostles. After Yahweh Shai left, you read about that in the book of Acts, and they'll do that now. Why? Because they were hated for the Lord's namesake. Well, we're teaching in that same Lord's name, so we're going to be hated likewise. And then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another. See that? And let's get you go into that word offended. It says here, to entice to sin, to cause a person to distrust and desert one whom he ought to trust and obey, to cause to fall away. See? So you're going to have that happen, and as it did back then as well. And it's going to lead to people betraying one another, right? Family members, loved ones, even people who are seem to be in the body of believers, and shall hate one another. And many false prophets shall rise and shall deceive many. We saw it back then. The Apostle Jude, the Apostle Peter, the Apostle Paul, they all warned us about it. They warned us even of them coming again in the last days. And we're seeing that now. A lot of false prophets have risen, and they have deceived many. And because iniquity shall abound, going into lawlessness, the love of many, or the hospitality of many, shall wax cold. But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. Right. So those that maintain the faith, keep their trust in the Lord, continue to fight and endure on to the end, and make it through all of these things, they will be delivered if they're of the elect. And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come. And that's happening now. And how did the Lord have that happen? By way of this internet. That way, this gospel and this word is preached throughout all the four corners of the earth, carried through the internet, through social media, through YouTube, through these different platforms, and it can be viewed from all over the world. And that's why we're seeing all these signs of the end. When ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation, spoken of by Daniel the prophet, stand in the holy place, whoso readeth, let him understand. This was referring to the Roman armies, right? When they would come to come into the land, right? Into Judea, into Galilee, coming down. Remember, that was the sign as well of the things that he spoke about in the first few verses. So the Lord said, when you see this, and Daniel mentioned that, I believe it's Daniel, the 9th chapter, then let them, which be in Judea, flee into the mountains. Why? Because they came down from Galilee, besieged Jerusalem, and eventually they destroyed it. That's that period of 66 to 73 AD. So the Lord said, when you see that, flee. Let him which is on the housetop not come down to take anything out of his house, neither let him which is in the field return back to take his clothes. Nope, just immediately flee out of there. And woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days. Why? Because it's going to be much, much harder for you, right? Having a child to endure that, to one, either flee, or to two, to be under siege, not having enough to eat, let alone feed your child, is going to be a very difficult time. But pray ye that your flight be not in the winter, neither on the Sabbath day. So pray that you don't have to do this on during the winter time, because it's much more difficult, or on the Sabbath day. Because on the Sabbath day, like if you go back to the time of the Maccabees, it was a day of rest for us. So most people would be more vulnerable. Israel would be more vulnerable on that time. If the Roman armies were to suddenly pop up on you on the Sabbath day. So the Lord was saying, pray that this doesn't happen. It doesn't fall in that time. Verse 21, for then shall be tribulation. Now this is talking about in the last days, in the time of Jacob's trouble. And we know that based on how it's worded, right? Because it says, then shall be tribulation, or great tribulation, which is trouble, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. So if this was talking about 70 AD in this part, then that would mean that that period of time would have to be the worst time in all of history, pre and post that event. But that's not the case. The times we're living in now is far worse, and it's going to be far worse. It's going to be a time that has never been, as it says in Jeremiah 30:7, before it or after it. And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. So except the Lord is to speed up these days, the times that we're in now, right? As things get worse and lead into complete destruction and chaos. If the Lord was not to speed up the days to have these prophecies, come to pass quickly, and everything was to be prolonged and continue as is, there would be nobody left to be saved. All the righteous would be dead or chipped, or just, slain. And then those that would be left or preserved in society would be those that would succumb to the wickedness or the agenda of the wicked, right? And if Yahushua was to show up, then who would be left for him to deliver? But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. See, for the sake of the Lord delivering his elect, he will shorten those days. Then if any man shall say unto you, lo, here is Hamashiach, or there, believe it not. So if they try to tell you, oh, look, the Messiah is over here. Oh, he's over here. Don't believe it. For there shall arise false anointeds and false prophets, and shall shew great signs and wonders, insomuch that if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect. So they're going to show different signs, different so-called miracles that look very deceiving, and a lot of people would be deceived by it, but not the elect, because the Lord is going to have a special spirit on them to be able to see through it all. Behold, I have told you before. Wherefore, if they shall say unto you, Behold, he is in the desert, go not forth. Behold, he is in the secret chambers, believe it not. So they tell you, oh, he's over here. Oh, he's over there. Don't go. For as the lightning cometh out of the east and shineth even unto the west, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. So when, as it says, lightning can strike in the east and you see it in the west, meaning that everybody's going to see him. You'll see the signs and you'll know when he is here. So you don't need to fall for somebody lying to you and telling you he's here and he's there. You'll be able to know when he's here based on those signs. And that's what he gets into it here as well, right? For wheresoever the carcass is, there will the eagles be gathered together. And when you when you read that in the NLT, it says, just as the gathering of vultures shows there is a carcass nearby, so these signs indicate the end is near. See, so that's why the Lord said, don't fall for it when people tell you he's here or he's there. You just look at the signs and you'll be able to tell. Verse 29, immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of the heavens shall be shaken. And this is going into the ultimate destruction that would follow suit right after Jacob's trouble, right after that tribulation, because that's how it's going to culminate, right? It's going to end with that fiery destruction. And so the sun being darkened, right, by way of the missiles, because this, remember, it mentioned wars. The Lord mentioned wars and rumors of wars. Eventually, they're going to turn into actual wars, a full-blown third world war, which we're very quickly approaching. And that war will go nuclear. And when it goes nuclear, missiles will be shot off. And so you're going to have the smoke, right, from different places that are being hit that are going to darken the skies. You're going to have the missiles themselves flying overhead, causing those shadows. And the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven. Now, the actual stars are not literally going to fall from heaven, but that's a dark saying, all right, or an imagery of the missiles falling down, all right, because from afar, when the light shines off of that, you know, the metallic pieces on them, it looks like a light from heaven, like a dot. If it's very far from you, that's falling from the sky, okay, but it's actually missiles. And the Apostle John describes it in a somewhat similar way when he describes it as figs falling from a fig tree that's blown of a mighty wind. And the powers of the heavens shall be shaken, right, which also goes into the rulers of this kingdom. And when you go into that word shaken, it goes into like an overthrow or being agitated because their kingdom is going to be getting destroyed. And they're going to be afraid. So you see here, it says here, to agitate, shake, to shake down, to overthrow, to cast down from one's secure and happy state. And that's the heaven that they're in. It's their secure and happy state. And when this destruction hits, they're going to lose that secure and happy state. Verse 30, and then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven. So that last sign will be those missiles that fly, because the Lord has to make his return then, or else the elect that are on the soils here will be destroyed. Okay, if the Lord doesn't make his return at that time to deliver them and beam them up, they're going to get melted with this place. So that's the last sign you'll see before the return of the Lord, those missiles being shot off. In the heaven, and then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. And he shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from the four winds from one end of heaven to the other. Now learn, and they're literally going to do that, right? They're going to go about in the UFOs, so-called UFOs, the vehicles of the angels, and they're going to beam up the elect and bring them back to that fathership, you could say, as it mentions in Revelation 11. Now learn a parable of the fig tree. When his branch is yet tender and putteth forth leaves, ye know that summer is nigh. Right, and that's spring. When the leaves start to grow on the tree, you know it's spring, and you know the next season is summer. So likewise, ye, when ye shall see all these things, know that it is near, even at the doors. See? So when you see these signs, know, right, that just like you would know that summer is near, know that the return of the Lord is here. Verily I say unto you, this generation shall not pass till all these things be fulfilled. And what he meant was not them in their time then, but them in the reincarnation now. Right? That generation that was there at that time is the same generation here today. And this generation will not pass till all these prophecies come to pass. Heaven and earth shall pass away, but my word shall not pass, right? So though heaven and earth pass away, the word of the Lord is going to stand. It's not ephemeral. It's eternal. But of that day and hour knoweth no man. So nobody knows the exact date and hour of the return of the Lord. No, not the angels of heaven, but my Father only. But as the days of Noah, which is Noah, were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. And what were the days of Noah like? Well, let's read it. For as in the days that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage, until the day that Noah entered into the ark. Right? So they were living their lives, going about like everything was all sweet, up until Noah entered into the ark. And they knew not until the flood came and took them all away. So shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. So people are going to be still in disbelief. They're still going to be living in their wicked lifestyle and mindset, just like they did during the time of Noah. And they're going to be caught up in that destruction with it. Then shall two be in the field, and one shall be taken, and the other left. Right. So remember, when the Son of Man appears, the missiles are flying, the destruction is hitting. You're going to have people getting beamed up. They're going to be getting delivered. You may be in a group, and then the elect amongst them get beamed up and delivered, and the rest are left to be destroyed. Two women shall be grinding at the mill, the one shall be taken, and the other left. Watch therefore, for ye know not what hour your Lord doth come. See? So you don't know exact time the Lord is coming, but you got to watch. But know this, that if the good man of the house had known in what watch the thief would come, he would have watched and would not have suffered his house to be broken up. Right. So if the homeowner, right, knew exactly what time the thief would come in, he would have made sure he was alert the whole entire time. But we don't know what hour it is. So we got to watch the whole entire time. Therefore, be ye also ready, for in such an hour as ye think not, the Son of Man cometh. So always be on guard, always be ready, always be watching. Who then is a faithful and wise servant, whom his Lord hath made ruler over his household, to give them meat in due season? Now I'll read this in the NLT as well. A faithful, sensible servant is one whom the master can give the responsibility of managing his household servants or his other household servants and feeding them. Blessed is that servant whom his Lord, when he cometh, shall find so doing. NLT, if the master returns and finds that servant or that the servant has done a good job, there will be a reward. And the master is Yahushua, and we are the servants. Verse 47, verily I say unto you that he shall make him ruler over all his goods. Right? I tell you the truth, the master will put that servant in charge of all he owns. Yeah, because he's proven that he is responsible. But, and if that evil servant say in his heart, my Lord delayeth his coming, right? That's those servants, right, who are laboring, but eventually they get tired of waiting. They put expectations on the Lord's return. They see that it's not happened yet. So they're like, you know what, I'm done. The Lord is taking too long for me. I'm going to do what I want to do. And shall begin to smite his fellow servants. So now they'll get mad at us for continuing to be patient and work and labor to serve the Lord. And they'll start coming against us, right? Scoffing, scorning, and to eat and drink with the drunken, which are those in the world. And that's what they'll do. They'll go back into that other lifestyle and live how they want to live because they got tired of waiting. They lost patience. The Lord of that servant shall come in a day when he looketh not for him, when he's not aware, he's not expecting the Lord to return, and in an hour when he is not aware of, and shall cut him asunder and appoint him his portion with the hypocrites. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. See, and that's what's going to happen, right? At a time when they least expected, the Lord is going to show up and boom, destruction upon them, along with those in the world, because that's where they wanted to go and get drunken with them, so they'll be destroyed with them. And that brings us to the end of the book of Matthew, the 24th chapter. Lord willing, that was edifying to the elect. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Recha Kodash. And until next time, Shalom.